All right, Reggie. I just wanted to ask because I haven't seen a whole lot lately, but have you heard anything new in regards to Keefe or his court stuff?
Well, I just heard that there was a hearing scheduled for today, which is what July the 14th, and I, I'm hoping it's not too serious, but it seemed like one of the prosecutors on the case was ill or something like that, and so I hope that doesn't cause the trial to be delayed or anything like that. But I am knowing, and I know about two or three people that was put on notice for, and they are trying to subpoena. So I know the prosecution is moving forward with their case. Uh, I heard from a little birdie from Keefe D family that he was offered a deal that he turned down, and I heard it was a pretty nice deal where somewhere like 15 years or something, which I know from my experience with 3 years already in. I don't think they 85% state. Shit, he probably could be out in 7 years, but I think he's I think he's gonna still eventually take a deal like that, but it's kind of hard for people to take that deal until their defense attorney say, "Yeah, all the witnesses have shown up. The prosecution, we have lost all of our motions, and I really think we're taking a gamble." Is when a person go ahead and take that deal. Me being a betting man, I will still put my money on that KPD is going to eventually take a deal. However, I hope not because I just left Vegas this weekend, and I wouldn't mind going to Vegas again next month. I'm keeping it real. Uh, Man, did y'all see the goddamn Jeezy? Jeezy show in Vegas must not be doing that good. I had tickets for that for the Friday night. That motherfucker canceled. And then I heard he was out hanging with Jay Z. Went to Jay Z concert. So he he canceled this show. I just think the rest of it. I just think he's not doing that well. He got a black tie thing where he's trying to do a black tie performance in Vegas, and I don't think that's going over that well. Jeezy don't have that type of fan base out here. He may have that out in the South, but not out here. But yeah, I was kind of looking forward to Jeezy. But we also had a party that night, and here's some photos and some pictures from the party. This is how we party. This is how the rights party. And so this is what we did as well out there. Oh, okay. So that's about the update on KPD, on what's going on. But that cases will be going through. So, like I said, by the beginning of September, I believe KPD would be either convicted by a jury of his peers or he will be taking a plea deal.
Quick question. Did you have an Under Armour account in 2025? Maybe you just bought some shoes online? Well, you might want to listen to this. Apparently, there are allegations that Under Armour was involved in a massive data breach around November 2025. We're talking about millions of accounts where private info was allegedly left vulnerable to unauthorized access. It's one of those things where you think your data is safe and suddenly it's not. Your personal data has real value, and when a company fails to keep it secure, you shouldn't be the one paying the price. Morgan & Morgan is stepping in to fight to hold them accountable and to help protect your consumer privacy. If you had an account prior to November 2025, you may qualify for a claim of up to $500. You can check the link in the description to submit a claim now. It's super easy and it takes less than 2 minutes to see if you qualify. Seriously, go check if you're eligible before the window closes.
Man. That commercial y'all just heard, commercial right there. Come on, y'all. Fill out the form. It's pinned in the comment sections. All our videos for the last 3 months, and well, maybe 2 months. And there's two different programs. Y'all can see which one fits y'all. One is for by Under Armour that had a data breach, and you can fill that one out. And then also it's another one for you people that had some issues with YouTube. Fill that one out. Um, Other than that, John, you know, I just wanted to say this. I'm not a Republican by no means, but I do respect people that sit in positions of a U.S. senator. So rest in peace to uh, Mr. Graham, the senator from, I believe he was in South Carolina. And so, hey, whatever his belief is, I heard he was kind of cool with working on both sides of the aisle. And so, but still rest in peace to him and his family. And so, yeah.
Okay. Speaking on the Keefe stuff, which that's super surprising that he was offered a deal, and not only that, but that he rejected it. But going to back to that, when all that happened in Vegas and Tupac passed, did you ever notice anything in Suge that changed because of the Tupac thing, or not so much?
Yeah, nigga lost his freedom. He lost his freedom 2 months later. He was taken into custody October the 20th on a probation violation for the incident. Yeah. Suge got very, very selfish. Especially once he got convicted. I guess it was February the 30th, 28th or March the 1st. I always forget the date, but it was around that when he got convicted for a probation violation. And immediately he started repossessing all his homeboys' cars, Bun Trees, Neckbone, Trayvon, everybody car. Thank God I was always self-sufficient. I didn't lose anything. But he took all of their cars and stuff. Um, it was pretty much like the kid that take the basketball and when you all out playing basketball or football, and now I can't play no more, so y'all niggas can play. So I saw a lot of selfishness going down, but I understood it, and most people didn't understand it because they don't realize Interscope immediately was trying to disassociate themselves from him, and within that 6-month period, he had to go out and obtain another deal with Priority Records directly, who were doing acts like, Mac 10, uh, you know, Master P haven't even really started blowing up yet. Ice Cube was always fighting with him. He didn't really want to, he was starting to do movies and stuff like that. Him and DJ Pooh was doing stuff like that together. So he had to go and deal with Priority Records, Brian Turner. But Jimmy Iovine and them, he had just got a deal in that August, because that was the heyday. That was when he was hitting home runs. And they had just gave him a deal for $20 million a year, which somehow that broke down to like, I think, $1.5 million a month advance. Suge deal was always with Interscope was like, they paid for everything. It was also giving him $1.5 million advance. And then they pay for everything, that they agree upon, you know, like uh like the video shoots, uh, you know, promotion, everything. And then they recoup it all. And then them and Interscope split the profits 50-50 down the line. So that was a great deal. But he lost that deal. And he went to 350,000 a year for which, made the deal with Brian Turner and Priority Records. And so that was a hell of a drop from 1.5 million a month to 350,000 a month. And so he kind of got a little selfish. That's why he lost a lot of the big artists. That's why Snoop was saying he hadn't got paid for a while, which I know he would eventually did because he eventually started paying Michelle ass 50,000 a month. And y'all see what she did for her album. What, 8,000 I think it was first week. So I know he would eventually took care of Snoop and made him Snoop right. But the biggest mistake that Suge made was not cultivating that relationship with Snoop because Snoop felt he should have been running the company and everything. And I felt, yeah, Snoop probably could have ran the production side, but you wouldn't let nobody like Snoop be looking at your money and going, meeting with Jimmy Iovine and all of them because you got to look at it. Suge looked at Snoop that time as a kid that was always just high around the house, around the studio, smoked out, fighting dogs and shit. And so that's why he didn't do that. But it should have been a way we cultivated that relationship better. And I think Snoop would have never left. Das would have stayed tamed. And maybe some other people wouldn't have left that did leave. But yeah, that would be the mistakes that were made during that point. To the fall of Death Row, some would say. But I'm telling y'all don't want to hear it. But y'all do the numbers one day. The albums of Doggy Style, Above the Rim, Chronic, Dog Food, Murder Was the Case, and I'll say Lady of Rage. Y'all had those albums up? Then when I was running the label, from Gang Related, Gridlock, Dog Father. I'll give them Dog Father, okay. Uh, Until the End of Time, Still I Rise, Better Days, Two Gangster for Radio, Chronic 2000, and there was one more Tupac album. I can't think of it now. But you add those up, and then they also had Christmas album. I forgot that, and they also had Death Row Greatest Hits, which came out. All of that came out when Suge was in custody, but he did put all those together. But y'all add all of those up, man. We did the same numbers from 97 to 2002 than they did from 92 to 1996. So people always say Death Row was dead, Death Row was declining, and all of that. Well, yeah, you went out there making noise, going to conventions, getting in the fights on BET and all of that. But when you don't have those expenses, the profit and loss statements is all that really matters, right? You want the shine or you want the gold? I'm one that want the gold. And I'll tell you, somebody set up and add them up for us one day. I bet y'all see that those numbers wasn't that far off from each other.
So let me ask you this. So before he got the deal with Brian Turner, was he already having people turn their cars in, or he didn't have people turn in all their stuff until after he lost the monthly that he was getting initially?
Within the time between when he got convicted, because Buntry also went to jail too. So his car probably got turned up, but in that time because the feds picked him up because they wanted him to snitch on Shug, which he did, and he stayed solid. And they tried to put a gun case, and they tried to give him a Fed case, versus, even though it's the sheriffs that arrested him. So I'm just saying, all the cars started getting disappearing from probably about December of '96 to May, March of '97, and that was just because we was on notice that Interscope was pulling the deal, and it took us until about Death. Oh, I forgot about Death's album, y'all. Retaliation Again, Get Back, which was under my watch. Uh, but until I guess about like I said, March or April of '97, that's when everybody was pretty much getting let go. As far as homies and entourage people and stuff like that, and start running a skeleton crew at the office. So hey, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna keep doing it. I told you we're gonna keep hitting it. And I'm telling y'all, go into that comment section and fill out that form. It takes about 3 minutes. You can go on some of the other videos and fill out that form for that other program. I'm telling y'all, though, one program was 500, the other one's 4,000. That's what they telling people that they couldn't get up to. So take the time, y'all. Bomb first. Man, this year going by fast. And it's Wednesday already. But y'all have a blessed Wednesday, y'all. Peace.